So now you've learned what is a system, you've learned systems thinking, the approach, you've learned systems view, and there's no point learning anything without becoming that, right? If, for instance, if you learn creativity, you can't just learn creativity and say, I won't be creative. You learn creativity in order to be creative. You learn maths in order to be a mathematician. You learn biology in order to be a biologist. You learn medicine in order to be a doctor. I don't think you have met anyone who has gone through 5 years of medical college and not practiced medicine, right? Yeah, of course, but they must be doing something related to medicine. Any case, so there is this website called Water Center for Systems Thinking. It's a brilliant website, and in that website there is something called 14 habits of a systems thinker. Whenever you have the time, please look at the habits of a systems thinker. Excellent website, excellent. But I don't want to talk about all the habits now. I'm going to talk about 3 habits, and we have our colleagues who will also talk about some of the habits. I just thought I'll introduce some habits to you so that you can start thinking about practicing systems thinking. So I've chosen about a couple of habits for you. One of those habits is called see the big picture, seeing the big picture. Let me explain this habit. Supposing I come to you, right? Let's assume I am 20 years old. And I come to you looking very sad. And you ask me, Shiva, what happened? Why are you so sad? And I tell you, no, I have not done well in my exams. I'm very upset. And you are my friend, so you'll try to convince me, but I'm not convinced. I'll say, no, I should have worked harder. I don't know. I'm very upset. I didn't do well in my exams. Now, think about it. You're my friend. You want to make me happy. You tell me all sorts of things about the importance of exam, enjoying myself, all those things you tell me. But what is that one thing that you will try to do for me, which will help me see everything in a new light? What is that one thing? What is that? What is that transport, a vehicle, which you will take me in? Any ideas? Anything? Anybody? You're going to be surprised. It's not a bus or an aeroplane that you'll take me in. You will take me in a helicopter. And you'll take me in a helicopter and you'll go up, 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 up. You'll go to about, let's say, 5,000 feet. Or maybe even 2,000 feet. And from 2,000 feet, you'll make me look at my life. Right? And you'll say, Shiva, see, you are now at 20 years. Imagine your life up to 80. What do you see in your life? What will I see? I will see 20 years. Of course, I'll see that failure. But I'll also see when I'm 22, I'm graduating. I'll also see when I'm 28, I'm getting a very good job. At 30, I probably fall in love with this person, this most wonderful person ever in my life. At 33, I see a nice small family that we have built together. At 40, I see a house that I have bought for my parents and for myself. At 45, I see myself traveling the world. 50, so on and so forth. So if you take me in a helicopter, or when you take me in a helicopter, I start to see the big picture. That's exactly what it means. I start to see the big picture. The big picture helps me get away from the narrow picture of failing in my exam. I understand failing is not necessary. Yes, I could have studied harder and all that, but I don't have to be overwhelmed by that failure. Because yes, I will write my exam again, yes, I will work hard, all those things, but I don't have to be overwhelmed because I am a big picture person. And now look at this example, okay, just one example. But look at this example from different parts of life, right? Everything in life. So once you become a big picture person, you start becoming two things. You do attach importance to narrow things. I'm not saying no. Yes, you have to attach importance to that exam. But you also have to say that life is not just about an exam, because there's a bigger picture that you are not able to see because you're not having that helicopter. That's all it is. So, being a big picture person is to be able to understand that both the narrow picture and the big picture are important. That's it. It's such a simple explanation. Once you understand this explanation and you start to apply this to every aspect of your life becomes, problems in your life becomes easily understood by you. You take care of both the narrow view and the big picture view. Look at the first question, therefore. How can I see the big picture without losing sight of the important details? Right? So the classic example is a band, right? A band. So Olympic, whatever those band, those long music bands there. Suppose you are part of the band. All you are told by the bandmaster is to take care of the beats. Tuck, 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 tuck. You have to take care of the beats so that you are in sync with everyone else. Right? Now, if 5 rows from you, somebody has missed a beat, you don't know because you are only taking care of your beat. So, supposing there's someone sitting in the stadium and watching it from a height, what does he see? He sees you doing well, and he also sees someone who has missed a beat. So, there is a narrow view, which is you, and you can yourself take yourself in the helicopter and look at the broader view. That's a classic explanation for what is a big picture and a narrow picture. So, how can I increase the boundaries of my system to see a larger whole? A system size. So, how does it work? For instance, suppose you are teaching in the mechanical engineering department, you can say, my entire life is mechanical engineering department. Or you can take your helicopter up and look at the entire campus and say, everything is important. I'm connected to electrical engineering. I'm connected to the aeronautical engineering. I'm connected to uh, to engineering design. Right? You just don't look at the own. You increase the boundaries of your own of the size of your life. You don't just look at the small engineering, mechanical department that you are part of. And time. You increase the boundaries of time. You say, I'm going to look at my life 2 years from now. I'm going to look at my life 5 years from now. I'm going to look at my life 10 years from now. This is what is called big picture thinking. The question is, what can I do to become a big picture thinker? What is it that I can do? What do you think you can do to become a big picture thinker? What is it you can do? Whenever you don't understand something or whenever you're distressed by something, I'm not saying you should not correct that situation. You must correct that situation, but you should also immediately take your helicopter and go up and see that entire situation. Just try it during the live session. We'll discuss it more. As I would love to hear examples from you, as to how you handled something or did not handle something because either you saw the big picture or because you did not see the big picture. And I'll give you examples from my life where I could have done better if only I had seen the bigger picture. There are several examples. Because I'm older to you, I may have much more examples. You can ask your parents, by the way. You can take this example to your parents and say, you know what, I just learned this habit called big picture thinking, and explain it to them, and they'll tell you lots of big picture examples. The narrow picture makes us not think of the big picture. Sometimes you're so consumed by the narrow picture. Sometimes you're so overwhelmed by the narrow picture that we forget to sit in that helicopter. All I'm asking you is to increase the size of your boundary, go beyond the boundary, or increase the size of your time. Right? You see that you must have seen the great video, no, where this camera goes right on top and right from space. The world is just a small blue marble. Right? That's all it is. You can't even see any territories because there are no territorial lines on the earth. Right? And then you come down, down. It comes down to one man sitting on a lawn, and inside that man, the blood vessels goes up to the narrow blood vessels. And again, it goes up and shows you that blue marble. It's a brilliant example of being able to see the big picture and the narrow picture. What you have to do now is to learn a little more about the big picture. I'm only, because of the constraints in the classroom, I'm not able to go on talking about the big picture. But you have an idea now, right? What you do is now learn about the big picture, see some videos on the big picture, talk to your friends about the big picture. Whenever in life you think you are too caught up in the narrow picture, take the helicopter. Always keep your helicopter parked outside your house and show off to friends that I have a helicopter now and all that. Right? So that's one of the habits that we will learn, which is seeing the big picture. The next habit I want to talk to you about is this one. Understand the consequence of actions. There are three types of consequences. One is long-term consequence, one is short-term consequence, and the other is unintended consequence. Short-term, you know the meaning. This is very simple. The interesting thing is the unintended consequence. So this simply means that whenever you do something, you must understand that there is a consequence of that something. That's all. Whenever you do something or you don't do something. For instance, I am diabetic, which means that every time I put sugar in my mouth, I must understand that there's a consequence for that sugar. My blood sugar will go up immediately. The short-term consequences, my fasting blood sugar will go up. The long-term consequences, my kidneys may get affected. The unintended consequences, because my kidneys are affected, I'm not able to go to work. And because I'm not able to go to work, I'm not able to earn money. And because I'm not able to earn money, I'm not able to buy things that I want for myself. Look at the end. So therefore, when I don't have the money to buy things for myself, I can actually trace it back to my ignoring my sugar level. Brilliant, no? Brilliant. I'm not saying therefore you should stop eating. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, remember I told you in the beginning, this whole system thinking is about understanding. And I'm not saying life should stop and you should stop enjoying yourself. No. I'm just saying that there is long-term, short-term, unintended. And remember, unintended consequence does not mean only negative. It can also be positive. It can also be something I do for someone, right? I help someone cross the road. I help an old person cross the road. And that person is probably very rich. And then he leaves a large portion of his farm. Maybe I'm just trying to joke, but I'm just saying, just helping you understand that unintended consequence does not necessarily mean it has to be negative. You just have to remember, as a systems thinker, now I'm looking at all of you as systems thinkers. As systems thinkers, you start to understand that everything that you do has short-term, long-term, unintended consequences. So, as a systems thinker, you can start thinking about the consequence and maybe take reparative action right now. For instance, you know that walking every day is good for you. So if you don't walk for a week, you can say, wait, I haven't walked for a week, therefore my weight would have gone up, let me start walking. So therefore, look at the second line. Systems thinkers look ahead and anticipate immediate results of actions and effects that may occur later. That's all. So you understand. At the end of 1 week, if you have put on a little weight, you know that something happened last week. Once you understand consequences, it's easier to put in perspective what's happening in your life. What are the long-term and short-term consequences? And can we tolerate short-term pain for long-term gain? This is one big yarn, right? That's what many of the elders tell us also, right? So can you not have that pack of noodles, which is tolerating short-term pain, right? Not having noodles and not having that fast food will give you of course, we don't want to listen to that person, but anyway, I'm telling you how to understand that line. Can we tolerate short-term pain for long-term gain? Any small bad habits that we pick up can end in long-term loss. In this case, if we don't do those bad habits, it can end in long-term gain. There's a brilliant video called Cats in Borneo. You'll enjoy yourself. Actually, watch it twice, because the second time you watch it, you'll understand it better. This brilliant video called Cats in Borneo, which is about consequences. Actually, once you see that video, you'll understand consequences very well. So I'm going to wait now. I'm going to wait to make you watch the video. Yeah. So what is the video about? The video is about consequences. The DDT has killed all the lizards. And the last line is that because the rats have come back, other diseases are there, right? And so they have to do what is called Operation Cat Drop and all that. So therefore, what is the second habit you learned? You learned becoming a systems thinker is about becoming a big picture person and understanding the consequences of actions. Over the next few minutes, you will have my colleagues talking about one or two of the habits that they have taken to, that they like and all that. I didn't want me to be the only person who's talking about systems thinking and habits. Just to help you understand, the four of my colleagues are talking about some habits that they like, that they adopt. So watch that.